what happens if Benzema reaches the World Cup final with France, and even though they don't win, what happens then? And as luck would have it, he didn't play that World Cup because of injury, and
I actually have a different take on it. It's my personal take. I think that Lionel Messi, although he will probably get it, I think he doesn't need it, or he doesn't necessarily, he doesn't need to prove a point about, like, it's established. He is the greatest of the modern era. There is no debate anymore, and he has already been honored for being the best player at the World Cup. That is getting the World Cup itself, and of course, winning the Golden Ball award. My point is, as you said, that Karim Benzema, who has had an unbelievable season.
last season.
Last season. And he won rightly so, he deservedly won the Ballon d'Or. Now Messi, this award, it's not a lifetime achievement award. Nor is it an award just for the World Cup. Messi has had a very good second half of the season, without a doubt. But if I were to vote, if I was on the panel, I'm never going to be on the panel. But
okay. One journalist represents
Diman Sarkar is I think on the list from journalists from India. Diman Sarkar votes every year. Hindustan Times, Calcutta, Kolkata.
So whether you never know, you can give your hot take, and if you become one of those journalists that are allowed to vote.
If I were to vote, my vote would have gone to Karim Benzema.
No, but now the thing to watch out for is, will Messi acknowledge that? Because he acknowledged it once when Lewandowski wasn't given, I think it was the Ballon d'Or.
Ballon d'Or. I think
It was the Ballon d'Or when he said, Robert, you deserved it.
Yeah.
So let's see.
So Lewandowski has won it the last 2 times, the FIFA Best
But
Award.
he's not in the
Yeah.
this time, right?
So we have spoken about Benzema.
No, we need to. We've spoken about Benzema. What about Mbappe?
That's what I was coming to. What about Mbappe? Because in that World Cup, France were out.
The final.
Yeah, the final. And Mbappe came out of nowhere, scored a hat-trick. How do you see that?
I think realistically, even we have to touch upon Mbappe. Realistically, it's between Messi and Benzema. But Mbappe, as rightly you said, has had an extraordinary year. Extraordinary. And especially his performances at the World Cup. In the World Cup final, he single-handedly pulled France back. And in my opinion, even if he doesn't win it this time, which he probably won't, there is no doubt that he will eventually be crowned with the Ballon d'Or and the FIFA Best Award.
Because what I think is we discussed during that December time was that in the final you can officially say that the king retained his crown, but the baton had been passed. It's now just a matter of time for Mbappe. He's what?
24-year-old.
No, what did he score yesterday? 200 goal for PSG.
Yeah, he has scored 200 goal. He scored twice yesterday, and that was his 200 goal. But I have a question for you. At 24-year-old, was Messi better or is Mbappe better at 24?
I don't know, but Messi didn't win a World Cup till he was 35. I think Mbappe winning a World Cup at 18.
18.
Yeah, he was.
And playing another final.
Yeah. So his time will come. I just think that while I think we now know that in that list of football greats, you would put, earlier it was Pele and Maradona in that list. Messi has joined that list. Perhaps some would say he's greater than Pele. The jury's out on that, because that generation you can't compare, because there was no protection, there was no VAR and
different
all of that.
Football,
And Pele also sort of, was the symbolism of Pele in the 58, 62, that era was much greater. And remember that we are talking about Pele today, but Pele was a superstar having the same amount of perhaps followers percentage-wise as the Mbappes or the Messis of the world in a time when there was no 24/7 media.
And we also...
That is why Pele is what he is. Maradona single-handedly took Argentina to the title, but I think when you between Messi and Maradona, the edge for me, and people will disagree with this, the edge for me is Messi's individual brilliance, also the other stuff he's won.
Yeah, so and just one point that you asked about who's better at 24. Messi was the best player in the world when he was 24. He had already won the Ballon d'Or, he had won multiple Champions League. He didn't win the World Cup, but it was established that he was the best player in the world. Of course, it was between him and Ronaldo constantly. So, but what we have with Mbappe is, I don't think we've seen such an explosive player for a very long time. If he turns it on, and the ability and skill set that he has, he can just take over a game like very few players can.
I think that World Cup final just showed us what Mbappe is capable of. And I'm trying to figure out, And remember, what is the last time somebody grabbed a World Cup final by the scruff of its neck and dragged his team into the contest? I honestly can't. I honestly can't remember.
I mean,
I go back to Pele.
yeah, exactly.
58, 70, that team, maybe.
Maybe
Zidane in
exactly,
98.
Zidane.
Yeah, 98 Zidane.
And also 2006 World Cup, maybe not in the final, but overall his performances at the World Cup. But he was a very different player. Zidane was playing his final game for France. But yeah, I mean, it's just what Mbappe can do at this age is just unbelievable.
Let's add some
almost.
stardust. Can you join us for a moment? Molly Gambhir is you're live, so we have to come now. We have called you.
Shivashish Nandi has just walked in and he's
I heard you got red carded the other day. You can't enjoy your teammates. He's like
We need
Cheteshwar
VAR for
Pujara.
that.
He's like Cheteshwar Pujara. He'll never accept his mistake.
So, as you brought in Ronaldo in the conversation, so during the Ballon d'Or ceremony, Messi wasn't even in the shortlist, the 30-man shortlist. Like, how times have changed. And now Ronaldo is not there. So, but Ronaldo, again, he's scoring for Al Nassr. So, Messi is definitely, he has achieved everything. Where do you see Ronaldo in this conversation? Like,
That conversation is over. With all due respect to the great player that he was, I think winning that World Cup was the only thing separating both of them. Because remember, Ronaldo won the European Championship with Portugal. Messi then a couple of years back wins his continental title with Argentina, and that's what got him nominated that year. Also, he came second to Lewandowski that year in this vote. But a World Cup is a World Cup. And you remember Messi 20 years from now for his performance in this World Cup. You're talking of Mbappe, right? He's 24. Who scored 9 goals? Messi?
Yeah.
Messi, 35-year-old Messi, dragging his team all the way to that title, 7 goals. I think that age factor also comes in there, right? And Ronaldo had a chance, but this World Cup was more remembered for all the wrong reasons for him. Obviously, he went in with that exit from Manchester United hovering over his head. That interview to Piers Morgan completely sort of divided opinion, perhaps divided the Portugal dressing room. His antics over there, the way he fought with Fernando Santos, the fact that he was benched. He made it difficult for himself.
He didn't have a good day. I'll just make this point. It's now basically how we look at Ronaldo in terms of these individual awards. Now that's going to change purely because he plays his club football in the Saudi Pro League. Obviously, it's up and coming league. They're competitive in Asia. The Saudi Arabian team qualifies for the World Cup regularly. But obviously, it's nowhere close to the level that we see in Europe. So it's difficult if he continues to play in the Saudi league. It's going to be difficult.
Even South American football is perhaps of a
Yeah.
higher level than Asian
So
football.
the
Right?
point I'm trying to make
Let's be honest.
of course. So point I'm trying to make is going forward, it's going to be
He's out
very
of the game.
difficult
Unless
for
he scores 100
Ronaldo
goals.
to be even in the top 30 or something like that. And that's a little, you can say, sad because he had a very good season with Manchester United
he
last
was
year.
the leading goal scorer for them in the last
Absolutely.
season.
And just the several events that
Do you
have...
think if this cutoff date again had been 31st of July, would he be in that shortlist? Yes.
Which shortlist? 30-man shortlist.
Yeah.
30 men probably, yes, but again in top 3,
No chance. I think the events that have taken place since the summer with his the nature of his exit at Manchester United and what happened with the Portugal camp, just it has really hurt his legacy. I think we have a question.
Yeah, not a question, but more of a comment from Ajit Krishnan Aju says Messi, nobody close, World Cup win is more than enough. I think that's where everybody else will vote.
Yeah, I mean it seems
very, very unlikely that anyone else apart from Messi will win this award. I, of course, had made an argument for Benzema, but it's not going to happen. Messi. Yeah.
Before we get to the women, let's look at the coaches as well. Carlo Ancelotti, Pep Guardiola,
Or the other
Lionel Scaloni.
Yeah.
Again, the same argument, right?
Exactly. Same argument, and very good arguments can be made for all three of them. Let's start with, say, Guardiola. Probably you would put him third on the list.
Yeah, no Champions League.
Yeah, no Champions League. But again, what he has done season after season with Manchester City, it's the dominance is unreal almost since the Ferguson era. This Manchester City team is the most dominant Premier League team of the 21st century.
But you also hold it against him that it's also a lot of it is down to that Abu Dhabi checkbook.
Well, that argument has been made, but the thing is that Guardiola delivers every time. He's had the check.
Yeah.
I mean, so yeah. And another, before we get to Scaloni, who is the favorite, a word about Carlo Ancelotti.
I think Ancelotti will run them close. Will run him close because simply
Champions League,
Champions League
La Liga
final,
title.
Real Madrid. We all have accepted it that for the first 60 minutes, Liverpool was a better team. And for him, because he kept saying, and he seems to get under Jurgen Klopp's skin. He knows how to sort of beat this Liverpool team and how. We just saw it last week as well. And the La Liga. And it was a pretty comprehensive La Liga win.
Yeah, definitely. And Scaloni, I mean, if we are talking like, let's say before this World Cup, not many would have put him in the top 3 because he
Top
was
10?
top 10 even, yeah, because he was a newbie. Not many, even the Argentina greats weren't sure that he's the right man to lead Lionel Messi and the Argentina team to the World Cup. But and then again the loss in the first match. Yeah. I mean, it's been a fairy tale for Lionel Messi and the other Lionel as well.
You can actually what you mentioned about that first game against Saudi. I think we don't give Scaloni too much credit, but he changed the playing system. I think Alvarez came in.
Enzo Fernandez wasn't part of that the playing 11.
He tweaked a lot of it to ensure that while Messi stayed, and we all know that Messi is not going to press and come back too much.
He tweaked the lineup for the final.
Yeah.
He made big.
Di Maria.
Exactly.
That was the master stroke.
Till Mbappe happened, he had probably won them that final.
Exactly. So, and here is someone who is not in the limelight as much. You know, he stays away. Yeah, he's in the background. He's, say, not like a Mourinho-esque personality. Well, no one is, but you know what I mean. So, and if he wins the award, it will be thoroughly deserved. Not just for the World Cup, of course, World Cup, but the way he has carried this Argentina team over the last few years.
In club football, you say manager. I think he showed great management skills.
Absolutely.
Because other coaches, and we have seen this, even the great Maradona in 2010, and then even last time, Sampaoli and all, who were all over the place, they sort of completely couldn't answer the Messi question. Like Messi was the superstar, what we saw with Ronaldo as well. But Scaloni somehow connected with Messi, sort of made him understand what he wanted, and the team bought into it. Because I think this was one of the most inexperienced Argentine teams ever at a World Cup. So that is why I think, with all due respect to Carlo Ancelotti, who's obviously, you can't compare a World Cup over a 38-game season and then put in the Champions League, the Copa del Rey. Now you have the Spanish Super Cup. That's what, at least a 60-game season. You can't compare. But I just think that what Scaloni did to turn this bunch of no-hoppers, and I say no-hoppers because he inherited this team after the shambles of that last World Cup. Where, remember that their coach was told by the seniors, you stay away, we'll manage this ourselves. So I think Scaloni deserves that credit.
Very good man management. And just since we're talking about man management, just I want to mention, since United have won their first trophy, I think Erik ten Hag will be in contention for this award. As much as I hate to say it, next year I think Erik ten Hag will be in contention for this award. He's doing a fantastic job, as we touched upon it last time. So yeah, I think Ten Hag will be in contention for this award next year.
Women's Player of the Year nominations: Beth Mead, Arsenal and England. England, obviously, the Lionesses winning the European Championships. Alex Morgan for the United States, and as well as Orlando and San Diego Wave. And Alexia Putellas. My car's coming on and off, and my GPS is sort of telling me that if I'm here, who's driving my car? Obviously, there's someone there. But Putellas is an interesting story. Because again, for the women, the cutoff date is actually the 31st of July. So that takes in the European Championships. And that you would think puts Beth Mead out there. Putellas hasn't played.
Yeah, she was injured most of the...
Before the Euro, she got injured and she hasn't played. But she still won the Ballon d'Or comfortably.
For the second straight time. I think she is, especially in Europe, I think she's widely regarded as the best player in Europe, purely because she's part of a truly fantastic team in Barcelona.
Putellas is Barcelona, Barcelona is Putellas.
Yeah. I think this time, but I think they did not win the Champions League.
No, they lost to Lyon.
Yeah. They didn't
but
win.
She's a midfielder who scored 30 odd goals in the season.
Yeah, she's extraordinary. I mean, that's why even without playing, she won the Ballon d'Or. But again, it's how you look at the award. So, for example, like this year, the biggest tournament, as in global football, in women's football, was the Euros. And it was an extraordinary tournament, not just for England, but also for the sport.
Exactly.
You know, the growth of the game was exponential. You know, we were covering it like properly for the first time, I would
There
say.
was a
women's
game
tournament.
where at 70,000 people, world record, 65-70, international game.
But the final at Wembley had full house, full house at
80,
Wembley.
90,000?
Yeah. But coming back to Putellas, Barcelona actually pitted the entire Nou Camp at one of the Champions League games.
Yes, I think
So-
it was an 87,000 game.
Yeah.
I remember, yeah.
Yeah. So Beth Mead, I think she won the best player at the Euros, if I'm not wrong, or she was the top scorer. I think it was one of the two. Yeah. But anyway, it's and Alex Morgan. Alex Morgan is
Back to
widely.
scoring, saw during the She Believes as well.
Yeah, and she was the leading goal scorer in the NWSL league, and she was also the player of the tournament for, I think, CONCACAF tournament. So she's also one of the strong contenders. If
Yeah, Beth Mead was Golden Boot winner and
Yeah.
also player of the tournament and also top assists. Now,
Oh wow, that is some CV. But Alex Morgan, I mean, she has been one of the best players in the world for a very, very long time. She has been the standout performer in the US team along with Megan Rapinoe.
they are synonyms to football in America.
Exactly.
Rapinoe and Alex Morgan.
And these two names, they are really very much recognizable. They are the face of the American women's team, which is the most recognizable team in women's soccer. She also plays she has played a very important role in the fight for equal pay, which we've been covering for a long. All that probably does not matter in the FIFA Best Award, but her contribution to women's soccer in general, for soccer in the US, whether it's
interesting to
football.
say that because while it doesn't matter, I remember Megan Rapinoe's speech in front of Infantino and everyone when she called for pay equality when she won it after that World Cup win. I think one of the most powerful speeches, and you could see just sort of everyone sitting up and squirming in their seat because she gave it to them.
No, I think, and as you said, like these things count. I think I'm pretty sure if I ever get that vote, I will
It will stay in the back of your head when you're making that vote. Yeah.
Okay, goalkeeper, men's goalkeeper Yassine Bonu after what he did with Morocco. Then there's Thibaut Courtois, who's again
Won them the Champions League. Won them the Champions League.
single-handedly.
Yeah.
And then you have Emiliano Martinez, he of the Mbappe and the rude gestures fame. But again, you win the Golden Boot at the World Cup. Sort of that will, yeah.
So yeah, and also guys, you can also put in your comments who do you think should win, because the awards, we will take your questions and what's your opinion about it.
You can do better. Come on.
Yeah, so we will take your questions and what do you think, who are the best according to you? Please fire in your questions.
And just before we go, just going to tease our 6:30 p.m. IST show. It's a Monday. It's a packed show. England on the verge of, their basketball theory has actually been put under serious threat because they need 210 to score on that final day. And New Zealand can do what only 3 other teams have done before. And all 3 against Australia, which is follow on and go on and win that test. Novak Djokovic has set a record. He's the longest reign as world number 1, 378 weeks, just went past Steffi Graf this morning. We have lots of football. We'll look at what happened, Manchester United winning the EFL Cup as well. And then golf. 2 great stories. Charles Howell III winning for the first time anywhere in the world since 2018. And the best part, wins $4 million just for winning that golf tournament, the LIV tournament. And part of his team is Anirban Lahiri, India's very own number 1 golfer who's playing on LIV. He also earns $675,000 just for being part of that team, along with Paul Casey and Bryson DeChambeau as well. And basketball.
Yes, absolutely. There has been an unbelievable performance from Damian Lillard last night. He scored 71 points.
What?
71,
Wow.
yes. He scored 71 points, so we'll be looking
Was
at
this
that.
an all-star game?
No. All-star game is over.
175, 180, huh?
Yeah.
So that's all we have in this edition of WION Sports Extra. Do tune into our show at 6:30 p.m. IST.